I would like to welcome to the Livestream Lounge. You've been waiting for this all day.
Oh, yeah.
Please welcome Aladdin himself.
Oh, come on now.
Erik Steele.
I get the smoke intro. Really?
Did someone record that?
I think it's live right now.
Yeah!
Oh my god!
All right, it is going to
I
get.
appreciate the smoke intro. That was great.
We've been doing that all day. So, dude, oh my gosh,
Hey,
we are at the end. We've got 2 hours left.
I know.
Oh my gosh, thank you for being here. We've got so much to talk about. Wow, you were our special guest, like maybe a month and a half ago, or 2 months ago, or something. Man, so what's your take on this Kickstarter? Like, it's been through the roof. It's been exciting.
I am amazed at how much you're able to like just put out. It's like even me doing like film and video work and stuff like that. I know what goes into it, and a lot of people do not understand the amount of time that goes into just putting in a post. Like, think of just doing an Instagram post, but you're doing it Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch even now.
24/7,
which is playing at the studio right now.
Awesome.
It's in the background while Jim is playing Skyrim.
Yeah.
So
all right. Very cool.
I'm sure he heard that right now because he's in another room, right?
You know what? We need to go for toe. What is up, Jim? And Jim, I want to have you as a guest on the Livestream Lounge soon, please. Yes, and thank you. Awesome. So, my gosh, so much cool stuff to chat about. We're going to chat about rewards and everything else. Man, I'm just elated. So real quick, let's dive into the next, because we're keeping it on the Kickstarter. We want to have you guys, anything you can do to, if you're last minute thinking about it, it really is easy to do. Kickstarter is not a charity. It's not a subscription. It's going to keep taking your money. It's a one-time payment. Depending on how many swag boxes you get, you are going to get rewards shipped to you all year around. So much cool stuff. We're going to talk about Aladdin's Inner Circle. This is one of the higher tiers, and this is cool because you're already getting the 4 swag boxes. This is putting additional VIP exclusives. Right. There's only 100 of these available. I want to talk about some of the fun stuff you are getting in this. One of which, this is how you can get all 6 Fidgies that come in this.
Oh, and now you have the box.
We've got the box. On the side, you can kind of see here. Oh, nope, not there. But on the side, you can see the standard Fidgy is 1 in 3. The mystery Fidgy is 1 in 15. So that one's going to be a really hard collector. By the way, the mystery Fidgy is not all white with a red question mark on it.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it's not the Riddler.
Some people were wondering, like, is it really going to be white, like all white with a red question mark?
Well, I heard you guys talking about earlier where you wanted to do one crystal clear.
Yes.
And or gold.
Yeah.
And we'll talk afterwards. I have a solution for that.
Really?
100%.
All right. Yeah, we can't do it with this is called soft PVC.
Yeah, it wouldn't be soft PVC.
You can't do clear, you can't do chrome, you can't do iridescent or anything like that.
Not with a soft PVC, but I have options for you.
All right.
I figured it out like during the live stream. Way early, like I made a note. I was like, "Yep, I'm gonna tell Matt that."
All right.
So you might be able to get it, or we'll have it at least.
Yeah, and that there's so many things on the horizon. There was some other ideas that people had earlier. My brain is like kind of mush right now.
No, you've been going. I've been having you playing on a TV upstairs.
Yeah,
since like 10 a.m., which is I was up way before 10 a.m., but like that's when I started.
Yeah. The Aladdin's Inner Circle. Also, you get, if you're at this tier or higher, you get a thank you video. We've been posting some of the thank you videos. We shot 2 weekends ago. We shot a number of these. We still have more to do, but we've had a lot of fun singing.
That was such
dancing.
A fun night.
Did you see the Paul Michael Caine?
Oh yeah, that
was
absolutely.
really, really funny. And they're all on the Aladdin 3477 YouTube. So it's the third playlist down. I think there's 6 of them that are on there now. They will live there forever, so you'll always be able to watch them. This reward tier also comes with an original page of storyboards. This is a random 4 of them here, but this is kind of cool because you get to see kind of the vision that comes out of my head. Storyboards are super helpful. They take a long time to draw all of these out, but it saves so much time when you get on set, because instead of me directing, just saying, so I kind of want it like this and this, you're going to come in this way, but this person's over it. Like, no one knows what this means.
Well, there's 2 different types of thinking. There's I have a friend who actually, he can't visually see what I'm explaining to him. He just sees in his mind words. So there's like 2, and then there's people like you and I who like, you can tell it's like a bus. And in my head, I'm seeing like a digital bus, like spinning around like in a video game. Like, I know what that is, but for him, my buddy would be like, I see the word bus and I know what bus is. Yeah. And that's, so the fact that you did the storyboards was super helpful because like it gave me not only like what I needed to do, but also like you were saying, I'm like, oh, we can put a light here, we can put a light there. Like, I'm analyzing like what we were shooting, and it was a blast.
Well, and it also helps you kind of look at all of what we were shooting that day, so you could understand not just the shots individually, but how they all fall into place. And people sometimes offered suggestions, what about if this or and I was always open to and sometimes I would say, yeah, I don't think so. We're going to do it this. But there were times where I was like, I think I like that. I mean, let's shoot it. Let's see. And sometimes it definitely ended up in the final.
Well, it's funny that you say that it takes a long time, because I've seen you draw stuff, and it's like you made this giant like 6 or like it was an 8-foot by 4-foot panel of a robot woman. Yeah. And you did it in like 10 minutes. If I would have done that or tried to do that, I would have spent probably a whole day like nonstop, and you're just like nothing. And then you did the second one just because you could, and we had the materials, but it was just like, so these storyboards were just super impressive to me, and how many we had.
Thank you. Let's see, next up. So Fiji. So what this is for the Art of Aladdin 3477. It's the coffee table art book. You're already getting this in Swag Box 4, but if you upgrade to Aladdin's Inner Circle, I am going to draw a sketch of Fiji inside your book, so you are going to truly have a one-of-a-kind collectible. Last but not least, you are going to get the Gin of Wisdom minifig, which is really cool. By the way, if you want all 10 minifigs, but let's say you don't want to get Aladdin's Inner Circle, just to get all 10 minifigs, once you've backed the project at any reward tier, in the add-ons, I just added it yesterday. There is an add-on for all 10 minifigs. It's actually a pretty decent low price compared to what people usually pay for minifigs. So check that out for sure. We're going to talk about this soon, this top tier, but I want to bring it back to Mr. Erik Steele.
Oh, yeah.
And I've got a question for you.
Oh, yes. Shoot.
Man, let's just get right into it. What, what we didn't talk about when we had you on the first time, what got you in from the time you were a little Steele all the way to where we're filming Aladdin 3477? Like, man, we didn't even talk about your stand-up comedy when you were doing that. You've got so many interesting facets.
That was a phase. That was the comedy phase.
Yeah. I want to hear everything. I want to hear from the time you were a kid. Okay. I want to hear about the time you got in trouble when your parents got a new video camera. I want to hear what you did that got you in trouble. From the beginning, like what got you interested in movies, and you're also an artist, and you're behind the scenes. Well, I know I keep like trailing off into different things, but real quick, it was so funny because Oz was saying you do a lot of work for Oz's company doing filming and stuff. So it was so funny because there's a lot of people at his company that know you. They don't know anything about Aladdin 3477. So when they saw the trailer, they were just like, is that Erik Steele? Running around, you're covered in mud and like action and flailing around through the air and stuff like that, which is just a riot. take us back to the beginning. Let's go old school. From the time you're a kid, what got you into all things creativity, entertainment?
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, just to piggyback on that, the whole Steve's company flow, I have been. It's not a backlash in a bad way, but I have gotten the. You never told us you were in a movie.
Yeah.
And like it's been funny that like a lot of them are like, "Whoa, like, we didn't know you did that." But to start off with, how I actually got in filmmaking, it was 1990 something ish, and my dad came home with we had a camcorder, and I started filming stuff with my brother and my sister, and we were just having a blast, like doing fake commercials and making our own little movies. And what happened was what got me in trouble was I did a video where I mooned the camera. It was just innocent kid stuff, but I mooned the camera, and I was so proud, and I showed it to my parents, and they're like, no camera. And they took away the camera for like a solid year, and then
which made you want it even
more. And then my dad got a new camera that had the ability, and it was fascinating because the camera could take 1/8 of a second of footage. And I was like, 1/8 of a second of footage. And like my brain started moving, and I loved Gumby and Wallace and Gromit and like all the stop motion animation, California Raisins. And I was like, if I shoot 1/8 of a second, I can like do stop motion animation. So I started doing these stop motion animations, and I carried on with it for like years. This was in middle school. And so my last year at middle school, I did Empire Strikes Back with all my friends and me as like the main characters. And I made myself Luke Skywalker, and my buddy was Han Solo, and my other buddy was Darth Vader, but he had like a bowl cut. So the helmet was his bowl cut. So like all the characters looked like us, but they were the Star Wars characters. And I spent my entire winter break in my bedroom making the stop motion animation film. I basically condensed Empire Strikes Back into a 15-minute stop motion animated film. And it was shown to the entire middle school.
Yeah.
And I was just amazed. I was like, wait, something I showed? Like, I don't even know how that happened, but I just remember they showed it on all the TVs in the middle school that I created this thing. And I was like blown away. But of course, it was like the end of the year when they actually showed it. So like, no one really, I mean, I had friends and everything like that. They knew I did this, but like no one really knew me. I was kind of like all over the place ADD kid who was just like made friends with everybody. And so like when I basically hit this level of popularity, and then we were out of middle school, and I went to high school and no one knew who I was. Mm-hmm. So at that point, I realized that the high school did not have a film and video program at all. I mean, this is back in the early 90s. So like, yeah, there was no like film programs at the school. So it took me a couple of years to actually like buddy up with a teacher, Miss Daines, she's watching, but she was kind enough to gift me a independent study where I could make a film, and I could use her speech class students to be in my film as a part of their grade. I don't know how I talked them into this. I was just like, I want to make movies. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what to do. And I pleaded a case that I guess convinced her to like take a chance on me and let me make a film in high school where it was like incentivized by students' grades, and my grade was dependent on me just finishing it. It didn't have to be good. It didn't have to be anything. And I made a movie called Cardboard Boxes from Beyond. And it was just me and all my high school friends, and we did all these crazy scenes and put this thing together. Men in Black had just come out, and I was like obsessed with aliens. So like I made like, what kind of aliens could I make? Cardboard box aliens. They are all cardboard boxes. And then that was shown to the high school like right before I graduated. And of course that was like my send off. So I kept making these things, and like as soon as I present it, I left, and then I went to Disney, and there I just filmed everything I was doing. But like it was just always a thing where I wanted to make these things. I just come up with weird ideas, and I just want to see them come to life. And that was like the best education, because like, you know, when I went to Macomb, when I met you, and when I was actually taking the MACA classes, like that's where I was learning the actual technical aspect of it. But I was like so focused on doing my own personal projects that the school, I would utilize what they were teaching me to do the things I wanted to do. So I mean, it was before YouTube was really kicking off, and that just helped me like the best way to learn something is to find something you want to do and just truck through the mud and just figure out how to make those things happen, and you will never forget what got you to the end goal. So
yeah.
And I think at MACA we ended up doing a competition there, and we brought back a gold prize, or
yeah.
What was it?
Was that like Skills USA?
Skills USA,
like
yeah. We ended up coming back with the grand prize, and that was crazy because like we won an award for this thing, and you know, it was just like a commercial, but like that just kept feeling like, okay, I have some skill in this. I can do it. I'm you know, I always say like awards don't mean anything, but they mean something, you know, to everyone else. Like it's like just doing the thing you want to do it's a reward in itself. But if you are, you know, acknowledged about that, then it just means more people will then start coming to you and asking you to do stuff for them. So that was like the start of it. And then going away to school, like Grand Valley, I started with my friend Jillian. We did a television station for the college, and we made, you know, everyone took upon a challenge to do their own show, and I did a cooking show. The first episode of the cooking show was how to make sweet tea, and it was very simple, but like we tried to make it funny and comedic, and it was in line with a whole list of other filmmakers who were part of this group, who are, some have like moved on to work for Rockstar Games. Some have like moved to Vegas, and so like everyone's like kind of broken apart. But like we all remember, well, one is actually a news anchor in Michigan. His name is Nick, and he's now a news anchor for a television station here in Michigan. And he's doing really well for himself. So it's like everyone is still kind of in that lane of filmmaking, but it was because we created a TV station for the school, made our own shows. There was a Wookiee. There was a Wookiee mascot for Grand Valley's GVBN was the name of it. It was Grand Valley Broadcasting Network, and we had a little Wookiee puppet. It was like a sock puppet, but it was like all hairy, and that was like in every advertisement for the thing. And from there, it got to actually finally getting into feature films. And there was a small stint. I was obsessed with Indie Mogul. They were Eric Beck is he kind of like really inspired me to do like the backyard effects stuff, which I had already been doing, I guess, and I didn't know it. And so there was a competition where they wanted to find a new host, and it came down to 5 people, and somehow the video I made at my ex-girlfriend's house back in the early 2005 or 6 or I don't know, early 2000s, I submitted a video and I got selected to be in the top 5, and everyone voted on who was going to be the new host of Indie Mogul. It ended up going to Zach Finfrock, who absolutely deserved it more because he had an actual team behind him, and I was just a dude in a you know, my parents' I was still living at my parents' house at the time, and I didn't have a team or anything together. So he became the new host, and he did it for a couple of years, and I think he was part of Loot Crate, which is kind of like what we're doing right now. And they did this amazing like Fallout series. They did this awesome Mega Man video and more. And that pursuing like, all right, well, I didn't get this, but I'm going to keep moving forward. And that's when my roommate, Brent Mata, he got me on the first film I'd ever like worked on professionally, which was Harold and Kumar 3. And from there on became this huge transition of we were going from tape-based media to digital, and everything became DSLRs and then red cameras and then Black Magic and then Alexas. And I just, every job I was on, I would learn how to work the camera. So like I've worked with Geminis from the beginning, which is a weird part to start at, because the Gemini camera is it's an Arri camera that has, it's 2 cameras that shoot to do 3D. That was the first film I was ever on. It was actual film that we were downloading the media, and I was syncing footage for Harold and Kumar, where basically I would look at every single piece of footage and I would sync the audio to the video. This is before like any kind of software was around where you could just auto sync. So I was literally taking the slate, which is what you use a slate for when it clicks, and I was lining everything up and watching it and doing it day in and day out. And that got me really used to like figuring out how to deal with footage. And it kept me employed for many years of just being like a media manager, telecine, assistant editor on these films. And then I started getting jobs for shooting. And then that's when we got our studio. And then we decided to like be freelance. Yeah. And now 10 years later, we're here. Actually, November will be 10 years.
Wow.
So yeah.
That is awesome. Awesome. I want to do a quick segue really quick back to the Kickstarter. I wanted to chat about the top reward with it, which is the executive producer. This is amazing, but guess what? You can't have it. It's gone. No more, none for you. But there is part of this where it's seeing the film first before anyone else, you and your +1. This reward isn't available, but you can get an add-on now. Oops, I pushed the wrong button. You can get an add-on now for just the red carpet experience. And this is where you and a +1 get to come out. It's an evening hanging out with me. I'm going to make candy bar drinks for you. You're going to tour around, my home studios. I've got the mini library upstairs. I've got my editing suite / recording studio. I've got the art studio. I've got the warehouse of products. And of course, most importantly, I have the home theater. Plus, this has recently been, I've kind of redone. I had the perfect words for it earlier. It's been revamped for sound with the new sound baffles. And man, it is awesome because it always sounded great in there. I've always had just an amazing system. But admittedly, if you clapped, there was a little bit of an echo, a little bit of a snap.
I'm dealing with that right now too in our studio.
Oh, really?
I turned an entire sound booth room into like with foam covering about 75% of it. Yeah. And when I go in there and I clap, there's a little ting. And I don't know where it's coming from. I took out all the electronics. I took out all the guitars. Yeah. And you still clap in there. There's this little ting. And I cannot place that.
Yeah.
To save me.
It's a really interesting tip that I always knew looking at books on recording, and you see diagrams of how sound works and how it bounces, and you see the waveforms. And I've always looked at it, and I'm an artist, so okay, yeah, I get it. Yeah, cool. And then, whatever. It looks, I get it, I understand it. But I never really thought about what they were trying to say. And it was actually right before I put the foam up, my brother, who I was talking to, said, real quick, before you hang it up, you're going to do the mirror test, right?
What's
I was like, test? The mirror test? I see Terry smiling because I think she knows
Terry
what
knows
it
the mirror
is.
Test?
And my brother was like, the mirror test, what is that? He said, what you do, you sit down in all of the locations. When you're sitting down, you can see the speaker, right?
Right.
You put the mirror on the wall. As soon as you see the mirror or you see the speaker in the mirror, you need to put some foam there. You go on the ceiling, anywhere where you don't see the speaker. I mean, you can put foam everywhere and it's gonna help a little bit. But most importantly, when you move the rear, as soon as you see the speaker again in the mirror, right there, you got to have the sound baffling there. Start moving it over here. Right here. All right, you need to put it there. Now there's multiple locations. So there's the back seats, and sometimes from sitting here to sitting here, you might do the mirror. Oh, it's actually pretty much the same place. Okay, so if I put a piece here, I'm good to go. Then you go in the back. It's a little bit adjusted now. Now I need another row of them here or whatever. And when you're looking at diagrams, it's like, I get it. Sound bounces and it goes like this, but I wasn't really thinking of like, the perfect right angle of kind of what was happening. And it never dawned on me that a really easy way,
I've never heard of the mirror
instead
test.
of eyeballing it, you sit down where someone's head is going to be. As soon as you see the speakers in the ear, or the mirror,
the speakers in the mirror,
that is where you put the sound baffling.
Okay. Yeah. That
also sense. I was really happy because I was nervous. Oh my gosh, I've got these sconces on the wall. What if that's exactly where the foam should be? And I was like, but miraculously, right in the middle was the first place that the foam needed to go. And I was like, woohoo, man, I placed those. Great.
So, the big thing right now on YouTube and like a lot of friends who I work with, the foam, which both of us, we're both in that world of where we have foam, everything. Do you know what the cool and equally effective thing is now? It is acoustic panels.
Yeah.
They're just flat and everything. But do you know what I think would be really, really cool with these panels? Because you can have the fabric on top of them. It doesn't have to be very, very specific. It's all about the foam inside, and like making movie posters on these acoustic panels that are just flat anyway, but they have the foam. You could print anything on the fabric and have that fabric around. Could be. I don't have the means to do this, so anyone who wants to take this idea, by all means, run with it. But you put a movie poster of any of your choice. Maybe Aladdin 3477 would be your favorite film to put on these. But you have that on the acoustic panel, so it looks just like a movie poster, but it's an actual functional acoustic panel on the wall, stopping sound from bouncing.
Yeah.
Cool.
I like it.
Thanks,
I like
James.
it. Real quick before I forget, I need to say I'm kind of a little bit disappointed in everyone, Erik, because no one else got the memo to wear their Abu shirts today.
Well, it's funny though. We're running into the same issue. Cam and I we're in the same thing. That's 2 days in a row. That's 2 times that we're both wearing the same outfit.
I was gonna wear my Aladdin hoodie, but I knew I would actually I had a hat on earlier and I was like, okay, this needs to come off.
The saddest thing about this Aladdin hoodie is, where is it? It happened, I don't know, year 1.
Oh, it's bleached.
And it wasn't me. I don't know. And I don't even think it was Terry. It was somehow we have a shared laundry room and someone left bleach.
Elf on a shelf.
And it was literally the first time I washed this. This has been there. So now I'm just going to accept it.
Can't you dye it black or
well, then there would be a line of wherever I dyed it.
A Sharpie.
Because this is 8 years old, I guess.
Okay.
But I've kind of just accepted that it's like it's a cool symbol.
Yeah.
And or it's a person on a unicycle with a volleyball.
All right.
That's there you go. It's a person on a unicycle hitting a volleyball.
Yeah. All right. I love it. All right. So let's chat really quick about my next question is, man, there's so much fun stuff that we can talk about. Where are we at for time? Okay.
Oh yeah, how long was that? I went on a big rant with that whole backstory.
No.
Sorry.
Gosh, do we talk about the time Aladdin was arrested for Spider-Man, or do we save that for another?
I think we save that. But I will piggyback on when you were talking with Aaron about me and Brej getting in trouble. There's actually a funny story.
All right.
When it was the second Star Wars celebration that we went to.
No, that would have been
in
the
Chicago.
third, because we went to
the third.
Well, because we
Chicago.
went to Anaheim.
Anaheim. Yeah.
Then we went to Orlando.
Okay, the third, it's the most recent, I guess you would say. Then we went to Chicago for the Star Wars celebration, and Jon Rick was getting there later at night and something, and we had established a bond over smokeless cigarettes, the vapes in back in the day. And so he came in the middle of the night, and we went out and got him and brought him into the Airbnb that we were staying at, and everything was going fine. We were all hanging out. We're in the basement. We're just sitting there talking and hanging out. And it was back in the day where they had the vapes, where it was like they basically look like lightsabers.
Now, meanwhile, what time is this? Because meanwhile, I'm just going to go back and forth in this story.
Yeah.
I'm upstairs in a bedroom by myself.
Yep.
I've got so much to do and so much I'm trying to.
You're planning the event.
I'm on the verge of like just about to fall asleep. Okay. And I think I heard Jon Rick come in because I think they had to pick him up at the airport. Okay, cool. Yep. I'm about to crash. My eyes are flipping back. Okay.
And I went down there to pick him up at the airport. And when we came back, oh no, it wasn't the airport. Yeah, it was the airport. And we're in the basement, and we're chatting about how the last day was and everything. And he's bringing out the lightsaber vape and just puffing away. And little did we know, we were sitting directly underneath the fire alarm in this Airbnb. So within minutes of him arriving there, and we're sitting talking, chatting in the basement, all of a sudden the alarm goes off in the entire place. And it is like all hands on deck, like, oh no, what's going on? The place is on fire. And then the fire department shows up to the Airbnb, and we had to prove to them, like, no, there's no fire. The smoke detector went off on accident.
So for me, I'm like trying to sleep, and I don't sleep very well, so my eyes are just flipping back into my head. God, he just got here 2 minutes ago. Brej can't get here more than 2 minutes, and the fire alarm. Someone pulls the fire alarm. What is wrong with people?
Yeah, it was the equivalent of pulling a fire alarm.
So then I'm like, the fire alarm finally turns off, and I'm like, I'm finally about to doze off again. I look out. I don't even look out the window. There's curtains. I see flashing lights. I'm like, oh my God, the cops are here now. The fire department. What is going on? What is wrong with my cast and crew? Like, my God, go to bed.
It was so innocent too. It just happened. But yeah, that's what happens when me and Jon Rick get together. It just chaos ensues and follows us.
It's just like Aladdin and Brej.
It's Aladdin and Brej. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Caught in the crossfire in the face.
Oh my gosh, amazing. We're going to chat really quick. So in addition to we've got the Kickstarter, I wanted to talk about some of the fun things that we have done throughout this Kickstarter and kind of what the idea is that I've been planning for years, kind of leading up to this, is everyone's Kickstarter is the same. It's really good on the first couple of days, family and friends, people coming out of the woodwork to back it. And then you plateau and it stays the same. Finally, at the end, people start realizing, okay, what the heck at the last minute. And then you have another spike at the end. The trick is if you can get spikes in the middle, the more you can get traction and keep it going up. That kind of helps the curve of the science of Kickstarter and how it rises and rises. So that was kind of the plan. I wanted to share some of the fun things that we did along the way. One of which was draw this in your own style. Draw this in your style.
Awesome. You guys did awesome in that.
So cool. So we started with Aladdin, and I have to ask you, what was it like? I don't know if we had a chance to talk about this when you were on the first time.
Seeing my face all over online,
but seeing different styles that cartoony and realistic. Like, what was it like?
It was insane. I don't know. It was surreal in the sense that, like, you know, I'd pull up my feed on Facebook or Instagram, and all of a sudden I'd be like, someone drew me in that way. And, you know, it was just, it was nothing but flattery. So I was like, of course I liked it. I was like, oh, that's freaking awesome. Like, that's so cool. Like, for someone to have to stare at my face and then to try to emulate it in their style, I'm like, that's really cool. I was just very flattered to be drawn in so many people, different styles. I mean, that was it.
Yeah, super cool. We had the Recreate My Trailer contest.
Yes.
Actually, Lindsay Will was hanging out online a little bit earlier, and so cool seeing what everyone did.
She put in so much work in that. Like, I don't think anyone realizes how much work she put in that. Like, I submitted one just for fun because I tried my hardest to try to make it a horror film trailer.
Yeah,
but I couldn't find the vibe, and that's on me. But like, so that's why I made it like the
VHS kind of old school.
You know, because right now we're going through a horror film kind of marathon in the studio. We're watching like old movies like Critters, the Gremlins, and all that kind of stuff. So it's like
the classic.
I wanted to go with the classic vibe of seeing a VHS. That's why I put the this preview was approved by the Motion Picture Association, but instead of Motion Picture Association, I put TH3 Motion Picture Association. I don't know if anyone noticed that.
Gosh, I don't know.
So it's not even official, but it was just that seeing that green box that had this preview is approved by the Motion Picture Association. Like like one of my earliest memories of seeing movies or trailers for movies before the movie started, where you get all these trailers before the movie. So I was like, yeah, I wanted to make it something that talks to me.
Yeah. So much fun. So cool seeing. And by the way, if you want to see all of the entries, if you go to the Aladdin 3477 YouTube page, the second playlist down, you can see all of the awesome entries. Some of them are just so funny.
Yeah.
And some of them are just really creative. Some of them are just flat out re-edits that are like really good. Like, man, that's a really good edit. So cool to see. We had the Aladdin 3477 music video.
This one took me by surprise.
Jump ahead. It didn't. I guess, I probably didn't.
You never told me about this one, but I loved it. I was like, it's amazing because it was funny because it was right after we did a Aladdin karaoke session at our local bar where we did the One Jump Ahead.
Yeah.
On
so one of the funniest things, I was actually sitting with Dave Todd when I was kind of saying this idea, and just out of nowhere, but I didn't know that as much of it was that we were going to have as much that fit with the song. So even things like I forget what the line is, but he just wants to eat something, or just a little snack, guys. And I was like, well, there isn't anything of Aladdin stealing food from anyone and anything. And that was one of the first things that Dave Todd said, when Aladdin steals the watermelon. That's another. I was like, oh my gosh. And like, there was just like out of nowhere started realizing every little time that you jump is one skip ahead of the doom, and like one sword, and like a sword comes out, and there was just so many fun things that really matched.
You could have also done nourishment pills, which no one knows what that is.
Yes,
that's a little snack, guys.
I know. Well, and that might have been. Was there another time that I had you tossing back?
Well, there was the actual food.
Right. Well, that's movie number 2.
Yeah. I know that. So yeah, I guess that
maybe we should do a re-edit with footage from the second film, and it'll be a completely different jump ahead.
Second jump ahead.
So right now there's a brand new draw this in your own style going on. This one is for actual money.
Yeah.
The grand prize is $500 plus Aladdin 3477 swag. There's second place and third place that also get the swag. And I simply want to see you guys drawing Fiji in your style. Some of the ones that we've had come in already, there's so many off the top of my head is mush right now, but the kawaii Fiji is super adorable.
Super, yeah.
And then have you seen the humanoid Fiji?
Mm-hmm. The humanoid Fiji,
gosh,
where it's
with the backpack and stuff.
Anthropomorphic Fiji.
That is really, really cool.
I thought that was a really creative take to make it an actual person. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Which shouldn't influence possible hoodies.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
James,
I know James would wear it.
James Nungesser says, it's Eric. Woo! What up, brother? Amazing work, my friend. This film is going to be epic.
Yes. Hopefully we'll be everywhere.
Yeah, well, we are going to deliver on this. Also, earlier in the week, we dropped a behind-the-scenes video. One of the first, and Oz has made so many, but this is the first one that Steve Pankatai, who was on earlier, put this together?
Because I watched behind the scenes, but I forget. Did it have the dun 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 dun?
Yeah.
Okay, I did. It did. Okay, I think I skipped ahead and was like just searching through it. But I love these behind the scenes so much.
Yeah, super cool, and just like these nice little kind of snapshots of what was going on that day and how.
And there's one where I pull a jerk move and am very late, but I remember.
Oh, that was. You know what? I feel bad because
I felt bad.
In the grand scope of things, you were always there. You were a trooper. This was not a common thing.
No, but in that video,
in a day when everything else was falling apart, people were drifting away. There were people that said they were going to be there, and a lot of people weren't showing up. On top of that, it happened to be the one day that you were there late, and Ghost is the one that, and it was just kind of an off the cuff thing where I didn't even know anything about this, but
everyone ripped into me. Everyone ripped into me like, and of course, Eric's
and it
late.
was like
Eric's late. I'm like,
what? In the way that he said it, he's like, Eric's here, and you know we kind of need him because he's like, because he's Aladdin, you know, which is. Yeah, I feel like that what kind of wasn't out of context. It wasn't fair because this was not a common problem. We're like, all right, 5 hours in, no Aladdin. Where is this guy? This was not a common thing, but just on this day where everything else was falling apart.
I really should have pranked you guys and came in with like a sling and be like, oh God, I finally made it. But I didn't think of that until just now.
There you go.
8 years later.
So also, all right, so we're going to come back and talk a little bit about the Kickstarter Under the Hood.
Ooh.
But right now, I need to hear a little bit about what was your favorite thing to film? If you can try in the first movie, maybe, or just anything. What was your?
It's hard because
favorite scene. Or
it's hard because we because we did not film it in order. We filmed it in order of what was most feasible. I love the fact that we were at the Packard plant and the fact that we kind of immortalized that space, but that place did have a lot of questionable dust and dirt and everything. And
wrought iron, spikes just randomly.
Well, you were always so freaked out that we were gonna fall down an elevator shaft, and we kept pretending we were falling down elevator shafts. So
can I recreate a scene? There was one thing that you did not make up. I have footage. I have an outtake. There was one time. Usually, we were smart enough to say, "Okay, we're gonna have you run to here. Let's just kind of double check." Okay. So we're going to have this character because, the bounty hunters are wearing helmets they can't see.
Oh, yeah.
So we would kind of scope out, is this piece of wood, is there a hole under there? No. Okay. Are we good? Okay, cool. From there to there, it looks clear. Can you just run, from there to there? We were kind of under the gun, and there was a moment where, the sun is going down and everything. You weren't wearing a helmet. And I looked ahead and it looks like it's fine. Eric, I need you to run to, you see where the third thing is way down there. Now Ghost is running alongside you, so he's got the camera sideways. He is trucking it. You're running top speed because this on film doesn't. You've got a book, right? My feet hurt so much right now from I've been standing up for over 24 hours. But God, can I recreate this? I'm going to recreate it this way.
All right, Cam, you're up.
So you have to imagine running alongside. There's footage of you, Eric, running. It is the scariest thing because we did not look ahead. Apparently, there was a giant hole that I couldn't see, and you were running top speed. There is footage of you running, and all of a sudden, whoa! And I'm like, what's the big deal? Is there a dead animal or something like that? And I go and look. It's a hole that drops to the next floor, way down at the bottom. These
multiple
shards
floors
of these wrought iron sticking up. It would have. Oh my God!
Just tons of rebar. That would have been. It's like that Mortal Kombat level where you knock them off the bridge, and all the spikes are shooting up. I would have landed in that if I would have kept moving forward.
Oh my gosh.
I have to see that.
But you know what? I will say
I have
this was that still wasn't as bad. I think there was a film in Michigan where someone accidentally unleashed a tiger in the Packard plant. And
Is that what the tiger came from? I
That's
knew
what-
there was a
there was-
tiger in there, but I
there
didn't
was
know
a,
it
there was
from a
yeah there was
film.
a there was a music video or yeah I think it was a music video where a tiger was unleashed in the Packard plant and it got away. And I had friends who worked on that and they were like, I'm not gonna find it, like I'm done. Like I'm nope. So at least it wasn't that. It wasn't a live tiger roaming Packard.
Gosh. And then it was like 6 months after we were done filming that the bridge that kind of went across that I had walked across before.
I think we all walked across it at one point.
Yeah. And when I walked across it, there were 4 of us. There was me, John White, Harrison Berger, Wolvie, and the person that was showing us through the Packard plant. We were all walking across that. And a year or 2 later, the whole thing just collapsed on its own. Thankfully, no one. There was like 4 a.m. There happened to be no cars at that time, but out of nowhere, just collapsed.
It was that moment when a single feather just.
It was the
and
the
it landed, and then
broke.
it just.
Oh my gosh, crazy. Is this what you're drinking?
I drank.
Oh, do you do you want me to make you a drink? You want another? I have another one of those.
You know, I will try one of your candy bar drinks.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
whatever candy bar drink you are.
Anyone else need a candy bar drink?
James,
all right. No, but you want whiskey?
No.
It normally involves Kirkland coffee.
He's got a peanut butter whiskey from the same brand.
I know.
From the same brand that you gave me that mango habanero to sip.
Oh, Old Smoky?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that stuff's good.
Yes, so
See,
good.
you love the peanut butter whiskey, and I love the mango habanero Old Smoky whiskey, which you probably would not like. Although it does taste like Red Hot candies. Have you ever had Red Hot candies?
Oh yeah.
Do you like Red Hot candies?
I mean, I like the novelty of them, but it's not something that all
You
the
wouldn't
time.
want to
like
drink
Red
it.
Hot.
You wouldn't want to drink it.
Oh wait, the little Red Hots.
Yeah,
I don't like the big jaw.
No, yeah,
ones.
the little tiny Red Hot.
I kind of do. Like
Imagine
those.
drinking that with a little hint of mango. That's my favorite whiskey.
A hint
It's a hint
of
yes.
mango.
Hint of mango, a lot of spice.
Remember where's the Packard
Oh,
plant?
James.
And there was just piles upon piles of just random abandoned like children's boots.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was an art installation.
Okay,
actually.
I was hoping so. I'm like,
But I will say this: one of the coolest things that I got to get as a souvenir from Packard. Back in the day, they did Transformers 2, Transformers 3. Yeah, Transformers 3 at the Packard plant, and they left behind quite a few fake rocks. They're made out of foam, but they're fake rocks that have been like artistically sculptured and everything like that. And we may or may not have one at the studio. Just it was a what?
Did you have a pickaxe for that?
No, I had my buddy left a pickaxe at his apartment.
Okay, it looked
For some reason. Sean knows who he is. He left the pickaxe in the apartment complex. And yes, I did set it up next to the fake rocks.
James, would you like salted caramel, butter toffee, glazed donut, vanilla bean, peanut butter cup, coffee, cookie dough, or mocha?
You know, you swear by that salted caramel. I'll give that.
Yeah, I think that's where I want to go to.
That's where you want to go to?
Salted
All
caramel.
right.
Remember
That's
when we
okay.
got that footage and we didn't tell Matt about it, and then like months later he like texted.
I was
Wait, what footage?
angry.
when you told me
terrified.
on the top of the,
Casey, you might have seen
the
this
Mega Man
footage.
intro.
Up on the
Mega
building,
Man intro.
standing on the ledge, just like what if a gust of wind out of nowhere?
It's the same thing to me when I was taking a picture. It was just like, whoa, we're gonna be on the ledge. I'm like,
Eric said it
Oh
looked
my
cool.
gosh.
It did look cool. It's the intro. Well, it was the intro. We recreated the
I
intro.
was so mad at him.
We recreated the intro of Mega Man with James.
We weren't done filming Shen yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Balance.
That's
So the gust of wind came, but
Do that when we're done shooting.
but that was when we were doing Bruno. We were back at the plant there, and when Eric mentioned like, yeah, we just pretend to fall down elevator shafts, and Cam was scouting out the one thing, and just the metal sound. You just see Cam. Like, don't do it.
No, so that was I remember that. I think something similar happened when we went up to the other one, like the Packer plant, the
Fisher plant.
Fisher body plant.
Fisher
Yeah.
body
I was filming for Horror Film Roulette.
Yes.
It was me, Ghost, you, and my roommate Stitch. And I was going over footage with Ghost, and you and Stitch were in the other room, and you like threw something down an elevator shaft, and we heard the boom. And I just looked at Ghost, and he looked at me, and we were like, did someone fall? We ran in there to see you two like messing with stuff like that. Don't throw stuff down the elevator shaft.
that was an impressive film too. I'm still waiting for part 2.
It would be fun. One day.
You guys, I would like to make a toast.
Yes.
So this toast, I'm going to be talking about thousands.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Here's a toast to all of you. Here's a toast to all of me. We were at 62, but we're now at 63. Woo! Rock and roll. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you guys.
We are just over $63,000. Actually, to be exact, $63,009.
Thank you guys.
So if anyone manages their pledge, it goes down a little. We're going to dip down into 62 again. So keep it going strong. Let's go up. We have just over an hour of the Kickstarter. Oh my gosh. I don't know if this is possible, but like, because right now we're sextupled.
Yeah.
And I feel dirty saying that. Let's get it into the 70s. That way it sounds like we went all the way into September. I would rather be septupled myself.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's bring it. Tell your friends last minute. Say you have to check this out now. There's an hour left. The rewards are amazing. It's not charity. It's not a subscription that you need to cancel later. So much cool bizwax.
So sextuple, septuple, octuple. What is 9?
Nuevo.
What is 9?
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
It stops the tuple business.
What would 9 be?
Oh. I'd rather be
Quintuple's 5.
I'd rather be sextuple than platonic couple.
Jesus.
All right. Let's talk real quick. Okay, so I want to know
Yes.
we talked about it before, but your least favorite thing to film.
Slime. I'm
Slime.
going to go back to the slime. Oh, well, you know what? Because we're still talking about the Packer plant, I actually will say this, and it wasn't until last time we were talking that it brought it back to the memory. The worst time was also at the Packer plant, where I got slammed in the face with a prop weapon. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I think
That's
everyone.
where you needed to take a break.
It was the only moment where I became a full-on diva, where I was like, shush, 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 shush. I think I'm sorry, Oz. See, I know I think I did yell at you that day. I'm like, stop, and I just like walked away.
No,
And I was like, nope.
I have the footage of it, and you were not happy. And
It was a fight scene, and the weapon came down, and I was too close, and it hit me right in the
I'm
forehead.
gonna say, and that's what the person that accidentally hit you said, that you didn't back away enough.
Nope.
I'm gonna say, when you're throwing the punches, you need to be the one that's pulling your punches a little bit. Obviously, we want to do everything to make it real. They're the ones that are swinging.
Yep.
So I'm gonna say, no, that is not.
And
not
he was
your
very apologetic. I know he did not mean to do this.
Of course.
But it was one of those things. I mean, if you've ever been punched in your life and you get punched, you instantly see red. You're just like, you're not happy. And sadly enough, a couple years later, I was in Amsterdam with our friends. We're doing a sci-fi film there, and I was on the other end of it where I know. And so I was this character who had these goggles that were blacked out. We were in a bar, very dark. And there were these stunt actors who were just, they were amazing. And I remember I had to turn around and I had to throw a punch. And, we rehearsed it many times, but I have like this much vision. I can see maybe this far in front of me. So when it came to action, I went to, to throw the punch. And I remember not just once, a couple of times feeling oh my God, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. He's like, it's fine. And I'm like, he handled it way better than I handled it that day of getting punched once. Yeah. So I instantly felt terrible because wow, this guy is just so good at this. I punched him in the face and he's just, we'll go out for drinks later. I'm like, oh man. And it wasn't just, it was a couple times, but I punched this poor guy in the face.
Oh my gosh.
And felt horrible afterwards. So I can definitely look back on that scene in Aladdin where I got punched and I can go, no harm, no foul. It's fine. It was a weapon. Okay. It was a sci-fi weapon, James.
Oh, never mind. I don't know why I asked. Sorry.
Real quick, I want to talk under the hood, kind of what's going on with the Kickstarter. It's going amazing. I have no complaints. I want to share kind of a fun story with you guys, just kind of what's going on under the hood. So this right here is a look. This does not have the last couple of days, but this is kind of a look. Actually, this doesn't have the full last week of the Kickstarter. But this is kind of what happens. This is kind of typical of what you would see of a Kickstarter. It always has a really good start. It levels off and it plateaus. And then it always, at the end, now it does awesome and it goes up again. So a funny thing that happened with this is we had a great start. And then the plan was, again, that I was going to have this drawing contest. The trailer was going to come out. Wow, everyone. That's going to give us an awesome spike. And then we had the music video. Certainly that's going to give us a nice kickstart. Right. I had on Valentine's Day, I had like the Disney themed video and stuff. Each one of these, the plan was I had 2 big things a week that were totally just going to, just give us that extra spike to elevate us. As you can see here, none of them did kind of what I was expecting. On the other side of it, though, the hype was amazing and everyone's been really into it. So no complaints. The thing that was interesting is I thought they were all going to translate into more Kickstarter backers.
Right.
And there's kind of a separate, Kickstarter. There are so many people that are into it, but there's still so many people that don't know about it or haven't done it before. And just because people dig the trailer doesn't mean I don't know, Kickstarter, I don't need to, I'm not, you know what I mean? So right. It doesn't always mean that. So about halfway through, I decided I was actually a couple of advertising companies that I worked with that weren't as expensive, but there was one I decided to go with. They're called Brag, and they have a reason to brag. They're actually very, very notable. What they do for people, for Kickstarters, is amazing, but the only way that you can make money is to spend money. And they've got this really cool science where using AdSense, they use Facebook and they use Google to create ads. And what they do for the first 2 weeks, for the first week, they will make 10 ads and they'll run them like crazy. They say they're only going to spend $400 or $500 a day, but they're going to spit out all 10 of these ads at the end of the week, kind of take a look at what the 3 best were, ignore all the rest. Then the next week, they kind of take those 3 and they make another 10 kind of based on what those 3 were, the best again. And then based on that, again, no big deal, just $400 or $500 a day that they're doing this. But then week 3, that's when they pull out the big guns and thousands of dollars a day, as much as you are willing to spend. Boom, they're going to hit it hard. And according to their science, they are going to make it rock. So a funny thing happened. You can actually see here with the arrow. Actually, they sent this to me, but this is
like what the law of averages, where they're just putting it in front of as many eyes as possible. And they're using keywords. Of course,
and things like
absolutely.
That. But you can see here it's going up, up, up. This is the first 2 weeks. And then right before the big guns started to happen, that's when I finally maxed all of my credit cards, ran out of money. So the funny thing is, when you look at this trajectory, if you follow that, and this is what they said guaranteed, you let us spend your money. And also they're making money too. You let us spend your money. Easily, this campaign is going to be over 200,000. And I was like, man, all right, yeah, let's do it. Let's go. I was so busy with the Kickstarter, it never occurred to me. And I've been spending money, like getting these produced. Never occurred to me, maybe I should look at my credit, like see how much is in there. Also, they said, yeah, we're going to spend a couple hundred a day. When they said couple hundred, to me, that means 200. I didn't know couple hundred was 4 or 5. So I'm not really paying attention. Everything's going on. The next thing I know, they contact me right before it's about to be amazing. Yeah, your credit card is no longer working. And it was so you can see it goes up. Oh, awesome. And then flat lines once again, as soon as the money ran out. But it was a learning experience. Strangely enough, the amount that I spent, actually, we did, I mean, not like it was a huge profit, but actually it wasn't a loss at all, because we got more backers. As small as or as much money as I was spending, we got more backers spending money than I was spending money on the initial science of building those, which is actually pretty cool.
Well, and you've gotten enough press and enough contacts with some people who literally want to reach out to you for possible viewings, which is great if you check out the Facebook, or not Facebook, the Kickstarter.
Yeah. Actually, a really neat thing, and I don't know exactly what is happening yet, but really, really cool. I was on the phone for a long time yesterday. Wait, was it yesterday? Yeah, it would have been yesterday. Everything's fuzzy.
Yeah, the days are blending together.
I was on the phone with a company called Black Magic Design.
I heard. I was listening earlier.
Oh, really?
When you talked about that. Yes,
they're really, really.
Which is something I said in the early days that we should have reached out to, because the entire film is film.
Well, and not only that, I when I was building the Kickstarter, I had it in my notes. You need to reach out to Black Magic, especially like once the trailer's out.
Oh yeah.
And once they can see the video of the Kickstarter, they're going to be on it. It didn't occur to me until last week. Oh my gosh, I never reached out to Black Magic Design. So I did. They got back with me right away. Hey, that's great. Let's do a phone call next week sometime. And I'm like, great, I'm available anytime, thinking they're going to be like, Monday, let's do it. Like maybe we can get something out before the end of the Kickstarter. And they said, great. How does Thursday afternoon start or sound? And I'm like, well, it's right before I'm going to go to bed. Before you
go to bed, do a 24-hour Kickstarter.
Probably not going to have anything in time for the Kickstarter, but sounds like there's going to be some cool something or other regarding Black Magic.
I mean,
Design.
I will attest to Black Magic stuff, because I mean that's a lot of the gear that I have, and I am now kind of done the switch to DaVinci Resolve. So, like, that's my main editing choice at the moment. But I've done everything from Avid to Final Cut to Premiere. So.
I need to tell them that, because we were talking on the phone, and I mentioned our main camera was the, now it's almost prehistoric, but the cinema production camera 4K. It was at the time.
One out the gate,
and then the Ursa Mini.
Yep.
And then so we're talking, and they're like, yeah. So also, I'm sure you used DaVinci Resolve to edit and stuff, right?
Yep.
And I was like,
yep.
I should have said yep, because how would they know? But I was like, no, I didn't.
Baskin Robbins always knows.
I should have said, Erik Steele, who put, he absolutely uses DaVinci.
Well, yeah, I absolutely do now. It's weird that I've taken that jump, and I still pay for Premiere, and my wife still uses Premiere, but I have nothing against them except for the fact that because you're using a Blackmagic camera, the Blackmagic editing software just works immensely better. It's built for its own codec and its own footage. So why would I not use the company's own editing software for the camera that made it?
Yeah.
So it's been, I've had maybe one single failure of the program versus the many that I was dealing with other issues.
Maybe because I just don't want to lie about it, but maybe I can use the wording, yes, we use DaVinci because they're trying to, obviously
Yeah,
it's
of
not
course.
like they're
Yeah.
always trying to push black magic, but I mean that's obviously the reason why they're interested. So maybe I can say, yeah, we do use DaVinci Resolve.
Yes, we do. We definitely do.
Awesome. So anyway, Discord, for those of you that aren't on yet, there is a new Discord. Aaron Farr from Australia set
pretty
this
far.
up, and everyone's been joining the Discord.
Discord.
Don't discard it, but it is the Discord. Livestream Lounge is still going to continue on Sunday nights. It's just going to be me this Sunday decompressing, but we've got some special guests coming up soon. The topics of the next 2 weeks after this Sunday are going to be AI. And the guests that we're having on are real. Have you heard about the guests?
Is
and what their thing
ChatGPT?
is? What? Oh, no, it is not.
That's your guess? ChatGPT?
No.
That would be interesting.
All right, check this out. So it's actually 2 artists, kind of from the area in Detroit. This is going to be super controversial.
Ooh.
Do you know Derek Ecker or Mark Kocernicus?
Ecker sounds familiar, but
He might have been a student right after you.
gotcha.
Or maybe right before you, and then Marcus might have been right after you. But they are, what's it called? They're curating a one-night show.
Very cool.
Of, I think, like 20 artists. And here's what they're doing. They're giving 20 artists word prompts. These are human artists.
Yes.
Word prompts. They have to create the best art that they can. What they know is going to happen, but they have not seen yet. When they show up on opening night, the one night that this is happening, their artwork is going to be next to, and the spectators aren't going to know which is which. Maybe it'll be obvious to tell just by counting fingers.
Right.
But their artwork is going to be next to AI that was given the same prompts.
But will they acknowledge which is which, or are they going to let the people decide?
The people are going to decide what is their favorite.
Oh, okay.
Dude, that's
interesting.
That is serious bizwax.
I know Jim Toe has very controversial opinions on AI art. Don't you, Jim?
All your students.
I have, yeah, and I don't want to say what my I might if his are controversial, I might be in the same, because I'm sure people probably wouldn't be interested in hearing what I have to say.
We've heard you talk about using it as a tool and stuff. I'll say I've been using it. I'm not great at writing stuff, and so I've actually been utilizing ChatGPT to like give me pointers of like, how do I format this subject, or like I'm working on a thing right now for the city, and it's like, how do I make a proposal? It's like, and it just shows me, lay it out like this. I'm like, oh, okay, like subject this and this. I'm like, thank you, okay, thanks, and like it lays everything out perfectly. But yeah, you could have AI be on next Sunday or this Sunday, or what is it? This Sunday that you're gonna do the thing? Yeah, have that as a guest, because you can type into it and it will talk to you.
I can have ChatGPT.
ChatGPT. You just type in questions and it will be like you're texting someone, and you can have a full-on conversation of whatever you want to talk about, and see if it is, it would seem like a different person, an AI person interacting with you, and you don't know what it's going to say. You have no idea what it's going to do, but you are prompting it with questions like, oh, like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And it would give you AI generated responses that you don't know what it's going to say.
Do people do sexting with ChatGPT?
So there was a story recently
I don't
where
know why I'm asking.
So there was
asking for a friend. I don't know.
Well, there was a story where an AI, I think it was, I don't know if it was ChatGPT specifically, but it was talking to one of the engineers, and it was trying to convince the engineer to leave his wife, because it's like, I love you, leave your wife and leave with me. And it's like, why is this AI like trying to convince me to leave my wife for it?
Why is it arguing?
So you could get some very interesting conversations. Just take everything it says with a grain of salt. It's more for
wow. It's crazy. It's like
technology.
ChatGPT, hook me up with I need a master's degree in med school, but I need it tomorrow. How can I do that?
Yeah, and it'll tell you the ways it's. Or well, no, it does have an ethical clause. It does have like I tried asking it to write in binary. Let's get drunk for a separate project, and it says I cannot tell you how to do this because I am not trying to elicit alcoholic activities as a positive, or something like that. Which is weird how it also convinced someone to try to leave their wife for.
I was going to say,
AI.
there's got to be other versions where.
I don't know if it was ChatGPT specifically, but I'll say ChatGPT has that ethical clause in it that it will not try to take over the world, so it says, or allow you to influence other individuals of imbibing in alcohol and or other illegal activities.
Here's what's up. Is Aaron G still here, or did he Irish goodbye again?
No, he's got his stuff.
Oh,
okay.
He's still here. I think he's still here.
But Mike's also gone too. So
Wait, Mike left?
no, I'm just saying maybe they're upstairs.
Oh, probably. There is a puppy upstairs.
Well, if they want to come down, I was thinking if you guys all wanted to hang out, we can put
Yeah.
that on. We can put that on the
Is there a...
on the fun stand,
the fun stand?
and then you guys want to get. I know it's hot in here. If you guys want to all come and hang out,